Let's say the things that we both know. Gonna take these words and make them stone. I know a place.
And I'm gonna go in about 6 inches. Oh, I wasn't gonna do that, but now I went in 7 inches. So, ha ha ha. Oops. Okay, and then once we get there, we're gonna turn our, oh, I guess that's not magnetic, is it? We're gonna turn our make a little bit and go up in an L shape. Let's fold this in. This right here on the edge. Okay, we're gonna go up in an L shape, and we're just gonna do a couple stitches. Just a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we'll stop at 3, back stitch, 1, 2, 3, and then do our forward stitch, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're going to stop there. Pull this out. Cut our threads, and now we're going to go back to the other side. And I'm actually going to flip mine. You can go from this side, but I'm just going to flip it so it's easier. Okay. So about a 5/8 inch. And go about a 5/8 inch. And I might have to do that on this side because I think as I was talking I didn't do it. I just went with my regular 1/4 inch. Okay. Let's go in. About 6 inches. Back stitch. Go up 3 or 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're done. Alright. I hope this works. This should work. Like I said, I've tried this before, and for some reason, maybe I didn't do it right. I don't know, but you just gotta practice, you know, until you get it right. I'm just cutting these threads, and alright, let's head over to the cutting table and turn this into a boxy pouch. I better open that zipper. Don't forget to open your zipper, because that right there could be a true issue. Alright, I'll meet you guys back at the cutting table. Okay, so here we are back at the cutting table, and what we are going to do next is line up our exterior and our lining with our zippers. So I am going to half zip my zipper right now, and if you remember, I went ahead and trimmed this seam allowance. So I need to open this up so that it lays nice and flat. So I'm going to finger press. Let's see. I'm going to finger press this open so it kind of lays nice and flat.
Let's make like a tree, grow some roots, do all the things that old folks do. I need you and you need me. What else more could someone be? And I've got a lock. Let's build a house upon a rock. Let's build a house upon a rock. Let's build a house upon a rock. On someone to lie with.
It's not going to stay perfect, but this is just going to help it to line up. Okay, I'm going to put one more right here since there's a good bit of space in between. Okay. Now, what our goal is to take this seam that we have right here all along here. And we're going to line that up with this zipper. So, open it up. And line that up. I'm going to go ahead and clip that. Just lining it up with the center of our zipper. I might use one of these clips. Okay, line that up. And what we're doing is basically lining these edges up. While we're lining that up, this is going to help our edges to line up. Let's put a loose clip in there so we can keep it all together. Put a loose clip on this side, again holding it together. Lining that up. And if you want to, you can always go to Melly Sews, and she's got a written pattern right up underneath the video. So when you click, if you go to Google and you research Melly Sews boxy pouch, you'll find this pattern, and she gives all the measurements free, which is why I mentioned them in my video. But she also has a video tutorial and then a instructional tutorial with pictures to walk you through on how to do it. Okay, once we have lined up our seam allowance with our zipper, we're going to go ahead and turn it over, and we're going to do that same exact thing with our lining. We are going to line up. Now I'll take these out since it's kind of been trained to bend over. And we are going to line up this seam allowance right here on our lining panel, on our lining with the zipper. And we'll just include it with this clip. So we've got our zipper sandwiched between our exterior and our lining. Go over to the other side. Do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to head over to the sewing machine and move on to the next step. Okay, so we're back here at our sewing machine, and now we are going to sew each piece. So we don't obviously want to sew our zipper shut, so we're going to have to do these separate. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my lining and I'm folding it down. I'm starting here at the top edge of our exterior. I'm at a 3mm stitch length, and I am going to go at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, keeping with the rest outside of that little spot on the lining. I'm going to back stitch. Okay, and I just want to pay close attention to where my zipper is. Not just the zipper, but also that zipper lining, because we don't want to sew the zipper lining. We want to stop right here where I told you I always leave a little bit of extra fabric. I'm going to go slow right here so it catches that. And then back stitch. Pull it off. I don't think I'm going to have enough bobbin, guys. Oh man. I'm going to end up having to run a bobbin. Okay, and then again I'm going to move my lining away from my needle. Place this down, and I'm going to sew not the lining, but just this panel. So it can be a little tricky, but just watch And I think I've already sewed my zipper tape, but we can always stitch pick if we did. Because I like to sew these seam allowances down. So I might have done maybe 2 stitches too many on that first one. Go over, couple stitch, back stitch.
Wanna drive all night and head out west. Get lost in Montana, find the Santa Ana. If we're going nowhere, we're going nowhere fast. Hard times come and hard times pass.
Alright guys, we got 2 more sides to go and we can check it out and see if we're going to have to unstitch that one part. So I'm going to take all my clips off while I'm snipping these threads. Let's see if I can get y'all where you can see me a little more. I'll tell you, one of the hardest parts about recording is finding a good angle. Okay. I feel like I got 4 good separate pieces there, 4 good separate pieces there, and we've got our opening here. So just, well, we need to do this one. Hold that thought. Thought one's done. Hold that thought. Let's do this one real quick. Line that up with my zipper tape. Okay, so look over your Dopp bag and see if you've got 2 linings sewed together on this side. We've got 2 exterior on this side. I'm going to turn it over. We got 2 exterior and we've got 2 lining. Alright, let's go ahead and head back over to the cutting table. Okay, so what I've done is, depending on how you like it, and this is, I don't believe this is in the pattern if you go to Melly Sews page, but I like to make my lining a little bit smaller, as I said before, than my exterior, so it fits in there good. So whenever you sew your sides, make your seam allowance a little bit bigger at the beginning, and then slowly go in to match the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you can see I've got 2 lines of stitches here. One is the 1/4 inch, and then the other one represents me starting at about a 5/8 to a 3/4 inch, and then slowly going in to meet the 1/4 inch seam. And then I'm going to go on over to the ironing board and go ahead and press these so it looks nice and neat when I do put it inside the exterior. And then we're going to come back and we're going to combine the stitches that we didn't stitch before. So if you remember, we didn't stitch this before, we skipped this and done 4 separate sections. Now we're actually going to do 1 straight stitch all the way across, so that when we flip the bag inside out, we don't have 4 stitches coming together. We just have 1 nice clean stitch. So you're going to go to each side of your pouch and fold this over. I recently made some of these little pattern weights right here that I'm going to, oh, I done knocked y'all down. Sorry about that. Guess I need some photography classes. But anyways, I'm going to use these to hold all the material outside of the side that I am going to box down. And then I'm going to use this ruler right here because it's going to give me a nice 1.5 inch box. Now, if you don't have one of those air erasable pens, or the ones you just wipe off, like I showed y'all before, these little Tandy leathers, you can just use a regular pen or pencil right here. Nobody's going to see it, and we're actually going to be cutting it off, so don't stress about that. Just grab a pen, put your ruler at the 1.5 inch mark right here. Okay, so you can either do this with a rotary cutter, but I believe it's going to be easier for me to use my scissors since we're doing all 4 sides. So let's go ahead and cut these. Cut each one individual.
I need you and you need me. What else more could someone need? You got a key and I've got a lock. Let's build a house upon a rock. Let's build a house upon a rock.
Okay, so before we close the bag, we want to make sure that we're going to add this strap with the logo on it. And we want to be able to use these boxes that we've cut to attach our strap. Let me cut that. So, if you remember before, I said you want to have your zipper, if the person you're making the bag for is right-handed, you want to have your zipper closing on the left. And when it closes, you want to be able to use this strap right here as a handle to hold and open and close your bag. So my bag's going to close on my left-hand side. So I want to make sure that my strap ends up on the left-hand side with this logo facing up. So in your lining where you have your opening, take your strap and put it in there, and remember to pay close attention that this logo is going to face up. And we want to use these openings, fold them over like a box, and we are going to place the end of one of our straps inside there. So my box is going to open this way. Let me look inside just to make sure. So my box is going to close this way. So I want my strap like this, facing the inside of the bag, or the outside of the bag, but it's inside right now. And we want this end to come through this box right here. So we're going to fold this, moving the lining out of the way. We're going to center this strap with the seam allowance, because we're going to close it all in together just like that. Okay, so I've got that strap inserted in the left side, ensuring that my label is facing up. And I'm going to go ahead and clip that right there, because I want to sew all that together. I'm going to clip both sides. I'm going to have that strap a little out so that there's some stability in that stitch. That just gives it a little more strength once I stitch it. Right there. I tell you, I still have Honey's bag like this. He always packed his stuff in a little bag like this when he would go out on the road. And I think it's a Old Spice bag, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look at it. I'd like to look and see how it's designed. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the other end of my handle that features the logo, and I'm going to pull it to the other side. And we're going to line it up just as we did the other one. Box your corner, line it up. Leave a little bit of that sticking out just so we can make sure that there's some structure in that stitch, because anytime I add a handle, I like to do 2 layers of stitching. Move your lining out of the way. Center that handle, and then pull it out about 1/8 of an inch. And again, the pattern don't say this, but I like to flatten my seams. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around to each boxed corner, and you can see we're already getting a boxed pouch. You see how that's standing up, whereas before everything laid flat? That's how you do it. Go to your other sides, go ahead and line them up. That way. Alright, we're going to head back over to the sewing machine and we're going to sew all 4 of these boxes on each side. So that's a total of 8 boxes. And we're going to go ahead and birth this bag. We're about to have a pouch. Okay, so here we are back over at the sewing machine and we're about to go ahead and close these sides in. I know you're more focused in on me. I'm going to go ahead and lean you down just a little bit so you can see kind of what I'm doing also. But my sister tells me, you don't need a video without seeing you. So I want to make sure you see me during the video too. Okay, so we're going to go stick with our 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. We're going to start with the side that we have put our handle and logo. And we want to make sure that we reinforce this handle really well because you're going to be lifting this bag from the handle, you're going to be holding it from the handle, and you're also going to be using it to open and close your pouch. So go ahead and put your fabric underneath your presser foot. We want to go from 1/4 of an inch from our boxed corner. And remember, I've got my handle hanging out a little bit extra just to give a little stability to it, but we want to measure our seam allowance from the edge of our boxed quarter at 1/4 of an inch. Okay, I've got my needle in the down position. I'm going to back stitch both ways to secure it, and every now and then I might hit a back stitch again just to give extra structure because there's going to be a lot of wear and tear on this handle. Alright, let's snip our threads. We've got that side attached. Now let's go over to the other side that has the handle. Now we're going to move over to the other 2 boxed corners that don't have the handle, which is going to be your right side. Make sure it's lined up nice and neat. Looking good, looking good. Let me check that other side and see if I should trim it. I'm going to leave it for now, but it's possible I'll come back and trim that just because if you can see there's some hangover right here that I just not my favorite. So I might come back and box that in. Now we are going to go ahead and work on our lining and get those boxed corners closed in. As we did before, go ahead and move your exterior out of the way. We're simply just running a straight line across our boxed corners at 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do all 4 sides, just like we did the lining, or the exterior. Let me make sure, I don't want any puckering, so you do want to make sure that your fabric is flat on there, underneath, that goes underneath your needle. If you let your fabric go up under there bunched up, well, it's going to be bunched up. So you want to try to make sure that your fabric going underneath your needle is nice and flat. If you have to, stop and adjust it. It's alright. I typically have to do the same thing. I'm going over my seams just a little bit. I'm just flattening that out. Make sure it's going up underneath that needle nice and flat, because I don't want it to bunch up. Back stitch and pull it off. Cut my threads. I guess you guys can tell I'm tired today. I said I wasn't going to sew. I was just going to sit back and watch a movie, but I couldn't get myself to do that. I can't watch other people sew because then I want to run in here and get on the sewing machine. And then, of course, you start something, you're like, gosh, you got to finish it. Because as soon as I go in there and start watching YouTube, I'm going to want to sew again. I wonder how many of y'all do that. get on there and you're like, gosh, I would love to be doing that right now. I remember Honey used to always watch YouTube. He'd watch them wood carvings and just how to do things. Log cabins. He loves some YouTube. If you met him, you wouldn't think that was something that he did. He used to always get on to the kids about, you don't need to be on that phone all the time. It's going to ruin your life being on that phone. And then whenever I got on we got those new high-tech Apple phones for the first time, he was a YouTubing it. We were like, Honey, you going to be on that phone all the time? So he would definitely love this. Okay, let's see. Just line these up. And I am putting them seams down because I didn't get to butterfly them. I want to make sure this fabric goes up underneath the needle and presser foot nice and flat. All this is going to bounce back, so just mash it down however you need to. It's going to come back. Don't forget to back stitch like I just did almost. I'm a little bit farther than 1/4 of an inch here, so we'll see if that gives us any problems in the future. Snipping those threads. Abby, every time I pick her up from school, she's like, you've got thread all over you. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's my new attire now. It's my fashion statement. Okay. Alright, here we go. And just turn my wheel backwards. Needle in the down, couple stitches, backwards. Alright. Oh, this looks so nice. I hope I can pull that through. I think it's time to pull through. Let's reference the pattern and see if it's time to pull through. But guys, I'm getting excited. I'm ready to pull it through. I want to see what we got here. Now we are going to go ahead and work on our lining and get those boxed corners closed in. As we did before, go ahead and move your exterior out of the way. We're simply just running a straight line across our boxed corners at 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do all 4 sides, just like we did the lining, or the exterior. Let me make sure. I don't want any puckering, so you do want to make sure that your fabric is flat on there. Underneath, that goes underneath your needle. If you let your fabric go up under there bunched up, well, it's going to be bunched up. So you want to try to make sure that your fabric going underneath your needle is nice and flat. If you have to, stop and adjust it. It's alright. I typically have to do the same thing. I'm going over my seams just a little bit. I'm just flattening that out. Make sure it's going up underneath that needle nice and flat, because I don't want it to bunch up. Back stitch. And pull it off. Cut my threads. I guess you guys can tell I'm tired today. I said I wasn't going to sew. I was just going to sit back and watch a movie, but I couldn't get myself to do that. I can't watch other people sew because then I want to run in here and get on the sewing machine. And then of course you start something and you're like, gosh, you got to finish it. Because as soon as I go in there and start watching YouTube, I'm going to want to sew again. I wonder how many of y'all do that. Get on there and you're like, gosh, I would love to be doing that right now. I remember Honey used to always watch YouTube. He'd watch them wood carvings and just how to do things. Log cabins. He loves some YouTube. If you met him, you wouldn't think that was something that he did. He used to always get on to the kids about, you don't need to be on that phone all the time. It's going to ruin your life being on that phone. And then whenever I got him we got those new high-tech Apple phones for the first time, he was a YouTubing it. We were like, Honey, you going to be on that phone all the time? So he would definitely love this.
I need you when you need me. What else more could someone need? You got a key and I've got a lock. Let's build a house upon a rock. Let's build a house upon a rock.
Okay, so now is a good time to go ahead and trim any of your seam allowances if you would prefer to cut down on any of that excess bulk that sometimes happens. I would definitely suggest that you beware of the sides that has your handles on it because you want to make sure to leave some structure. So now what we're going to do is turn the bag inside out and we're done. Let's birth this baby. So that hole that you left open, you're going to turn everything inside right. And we're going to see how this turned out. This is my first little travel toilet. It's a Dopp bag. I don't want to call it a toiletry bag. It's a Dopp bag. So this is my very first ever Dopp bag. And I'm excited to see how it turned out. I've never made one of these before. Press out all of these little corners. Press this side right here out. I always get nervous when I'm pushing out my corners because I am that person that always snaps the stitches. Every time, never fails. I've never just been able to pop it out and no stitches pop. I don't know why. I think because I'm rough-handed on everything. So, oh, this is so cute. I like it. I personally would like to add Peltex to the bottom just to give it a little structure, I think. To make it firm, but I don't know. Do you really want that? Or look how well that stands up. Oh, that's so cute. Look at my Honey's logo. And I even done the little burnt edges around the edge so it would kind of, you know, just something for my son to have in honor of him. Thought it would be cute for when he travels home. And it's hard. They're running their own business up there, and then he's got to come home and cut grass and do things here. So I thought it'd be nice for him to have something to carry his stuff in and remember why he's having to do it, you know. You don't have to. He chooses to. But I just thought this would be a little nice gift for him for saying thank you for having to come up here and take time out of his life. So, anyways, look at the wood grain in there. Another reference to my husband. He'll definitely know what that's for. And I like it, guys. I think I'm going to have to make some more of these to sell. I like it. That's cute. Now I just need to decide if I should add the Peltex to the bottom on the next one, so it stands up. I don't think this is supposed to have a flat bottom though, is it? Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. This is definitely a cute bag. I need to make me one. I need one of these. Depending on the colors you choose, you can make these as little makeup bags, little carry-on airplane bags. I mean, this could be anything. I like it. Alright, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you guys like this little bag? What colors would you like to see it in? Or would you suggest I make it for my little craft shows that I'm going to be doing? Alright, guys, you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I made this little gift for my son in honor of my husband. Just a little reference to him. I don't know. What do y'all think? I like it. Alright, you guys have a great day. Don't forget, be inspired and let's get some rest. I need some vacation from my vacation, guys. I'm tired. Look at me. I'm sleepy. Oh my gosh, guys, I almost forgot. Don't forget, you remember the hole that we have to birth our bag through. We need to go back and you can either hand sew that or run it over the sewing machine real quick. It doesn't really matter which one you do. If you don't want the stitches to show, you can just do some little whip stitches in there. But I'm just going to run mine through the sewing machine. Just fold it like that and just run a stitch right across there, and that just closes it. That way it's not open to your lining. So I almost forgot about that, but don't forget that, and we've got us a bag. Alright, guys, have a great day. Don't forget, this time, be inspired again.
You got a key and I've got a lock. Let's build a house upon a rock. Let's build a